Thank you for joining us for another episode of the 5,000 Role Model Show on MDC-TV. We are delighted to be joined by the senior advisor to the city manager of the city of Miami and director of partnerships and programming for Venture Miami, Mr. Keith Carswell, and the principal of the prestigious William H. Turner Technical Arts Senior High School, Mr. Uwezo Frazier. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Let's begin with where did you all grow up and how would you describe your upbringing? Mr. Frazier.
I'm a product of Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I grew up here in Miami-Dade County, specifically Opelika, for those people that know the area well. It's been wonderful growing up here and watching the city grow. And I really found my passion in education here. My background, my mother was a cashier on the cafeteria at Rainbow Park Elementary. My dad was a custodian, Golden Glades Elementary and Miami Lakes Middle. And, they really didn't look at my grades. They looked at effort. They looked at conduct. Did I have a 1 in effort? Did I have an A in conduct? They teach me and taught me to control the things that I could and have ownership over the things that I could. And I continue to live my life that way. So it's great lessons, great growing up in Miami-Dade County Public Schools and continuing. This is my 25th year. So I've been in it for my entire life. And it's been a pleasure taking this journey.
I went to Miami Park Elementary School on 103rd Street. And from there, I went to Charles Drew Middle. And from Charles Drew Middle, I went to Miami Northwestern Senior High. And so I grew up in Liberty City on 59th Street and 7th Place, I tell folks. So that was a great experience, having growing up in Liberty City, being a Bull, being part of Bull Nation, and also playing on the football team. I was co-captain my senior year, and I actually won a Silver Knight Award in drama. So I was based on my community involvement and service in the community. So been involved for a number of years. Miami's always been home. When I went away to college, I thought it not robbery to come back and try to lend my talents to the community.
What is your current role, Mr. Carswell, with the city of Miami, and what have some of your previous career experiences been?
Well, when I first came back home, I went into banking. There was a bank called Southeast Bank at the time, and we did commercial lending. We had classes that we took in accounting, finance. And let me just say, from Northwestern, I went to Columbia University in New York City. And so, and I'll tell you, at the time I attended Northwestern, we only had just one white kid in the whole school. And you always hear that you are a minority. And you hear that, but it's something totally different when you walk into a classroom and there are 200 plus people, and then you're the only African American in the class. And so that is something that I think for a lot of the kids that go away and go out of that environment, it's a great experience because the world that we live in is much larger than where we grew up, at least for me growing up. And so coming out of that environment, I went into banking. And that was another challenging opportunity too. My background was urban studies with a concentration in economics. And so I went into commercial lending, and we actually had classrooms and we had exams in finance, accounting. We had case studies that you had to read, and you had to ascertain why a company was losing money, or should we lend the company money or not. If you didn't pass your exams, they redirected your career or they let you go. So you talk about high stake testing. And so I did that for a number of years. I managed a couple of branches. Then from there, eventually got into government. So my current role now is kind of like a utility person. I'm involved with economic development and working with the city manager, where we work on specific development projects for affordable housing. I previously was the director for sanitation. I implemented the recycling program that you see, those blue cans that get picked up. I also, at one stint, I was the director for real estate and economic development. So if you ever went to the Little Haiti Cultural Center, I bought the land for that. If you ever played at the Little Haiti soccer field, I bought the land for that. That used to be a trailer park. So because of my experience in working in the city, I get to do a lot of different things. And so now, fast forward with Venture Miami, oftentimes when we get reached out by a lot of different tech companies. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit about some of the tech movement that's occurring. And so companies that are relocating here, they want to invest in the community. They want to partner with the city of Miami through Mayor Suarez's wonderful effort. And so I try to figure out what we can do, what the process is, what kind of partnerships that we get involved with, and the programming to try to benefit the whole community. So that's kind of my broad role.
What a diverse set of career experiences. And I actually ran at the Little Haiti Soccer Park yesterday. So thank you for your efforts in putting that together. Mr. Frazier, what led you to become a principal?
Well, just like he said, I mean, he said some amazing things. I'm moved. I'm a fan on here watching them and listening to him. So that's amazing. But one thing he said that stood out is being, the only person walking in there. So, for me, representation matters. There's a number of factors that helped me get to where I am and made me want to, but mainly it's representation. I've had great male role models in my life, and I don't know where I'd be without some of them. Some of those role models never knew I was watching. I'm sure I'm having that impact now. Your disposition, the way that you move and unapologetically navigating life is powerful when someone sees that. So I love the 5,000 Role Models Project because it just consistently displays those images that you aren't supposed to see. It speaks to a narrative of young Black men from a position of power, and it's definitely needed. And so I'm honored, to be a principal, to be, someone that can be emulated. And I'm honored to meet people through this journey that have like-minded ways and experiences that they want to share. It's a revolution. So thank you.
Thank you so much. As you speak about revolution, and you have a picture of Malcolm X behind you, if I can paraphrase Malcolm X and say that we didn't land on Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley has landed on us. And after the break, we'll talk about how we as a community can prepare ourselves and prepare others to take advantage of the tremendous opportunities that are here now in the tech sector in South Florida. Stay with us. Welcome back to the 5,000 Role Model Show on MDC-TV. We're talking about the emerging and accelerating tech sector in South Florida. And we have one of the engineers, one of the people who have played a key role in bringing some of these opportunities to South Florida from the city of Miami, Mr. Keith Carswell. Mr. Carswell, how can you describe what's going on right now in Miami?
We're on the precipice of a transformation in our economy. Historically, the city of Miami has been dependent upon tourism and hospitality as an economy. And here comes the man of the hour, 5,000 Role Model TV.
Welcome, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. We're joined by the mayor of the city of Miami, Francis Suarez, and we're talking about the emerging tech sector. We're here on the 5,000 Role Model Show on MDC-TV. How can you explain what's going on?
Well, first of all, I'm just blown away by how inspired I am in this moment that I didn't plan to be here with you guys talking about this. For me, it's about creating a Miami that everyone can participate in, a Miami that's here for everyone. And I think the 5,000 Role Model Project it's an effort to really help empower people, you know, and I think the objective is to give young adults in our community an opportunity to have a high paying job. And that's something that, you know, we haven't really focused on as a community. We've had a lot of, you know, great entry level jobs in the hospitality industry and in real estate and construction. But we want people to feel empowered. We want them to be able to build. We want them to be able to create companies and scale. And so for me, having the 5,000 role model, you know, organization as a partner, you know, Keith and I have talked about it. We really want to bring you in the fold because we think we can have you and use you to really spread the message and to create some use cases for some of our technological projects.
Thank you so much, Mayor Suarez. And the 5,000 role models is in 117 schools. We have thousands
Incredible.
of young men. How can they best prepare themselves to be able to be take advantage of the tremendous opportunities that are here now in the tech sector in Miami?
Well, we're gonna reach out to the organization and find a variety of ways. We're very blessed that the commission gave us $6 million over a 2-year period, $3 million a year for our Venture Miami operation. And so we want to partner with 5,000 role models and come up with programming and find out what is the best way to leverage the relationship and create opportunities for more people.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mayor Suarez.
All right. Hey, my morning.
Principal Frazier, you all have some very innovative projects and programs and initiatives going on there at Turner Tech. Can you talk about some of those infrastructures of opportunity that you have in place there?
Certainly. You have me following some great people, and I can say for one, social justice. That's basically what it is. I mean, we brought in this year pre-apprentice construction. We've seen all the work that's taking place in Miami-Dade County and in our area, and you know, we want people that represent the community to have opportunities on job sites and those types of things, and have the certification to move. Those things are always there. And we also brought in pre-apprenticeship cybersecurity, which was a really big strand for us to bring in. I am dedicating this segment and speaking on behalf of our pre-apprentice cybersecurity instructor, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, you know, lost his bout with COVID recently, and his idea and the conversations that we've had, he talked about tech as social justice. He talked about tech as far as reparations, as the mayor said, bringing people in on the grassroots level to actually attain a certain livelihood in Miami that, you know, have been overlooked since 95 has went through and took over Overtown. You know, we're right back there. You know, this is the opportunity that we have. This is a connection that we have. And it's just amazing to be a part of it. Technology is woven into the fabrics of our lives. It's in banking. It's in hospitality. It's in jobs that we don't know exist yet. And to give our young people the opportunity to go in and do this is incredible. We're going to continue this work. Again, we're going to dedicate a lot to Mr. Thomas, who had a lot on his plate and a lot of ideas. And I really want to bring those innovations into fruition for him. And technology is something that we're really focusing on. And I would love to partner with Venture Miami and have further conversations and the role models on just how this should go. It's really important. The initiative is again, social justice in real time. So thank you so much for all those individuals that played a part in bringing tech to Miami.
You said it right, in real time. And Mr. Thomas leaves an incredible legacy. And this is truly a historic moment, a pivotal moment in our community, in the history, really, of the state of Florida and in our nation. Mr. Carswell, what final comments or remarks, or what do you want to leave with the listeners, both in the South Florida community and the thousands of young men who are participants in the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence project?
As a father with 2 Black boys, and I always make the distinction, Black boys, because I believe that there is a difference growing up. In my lifetime, when people used to make a phone call, they had to go to a payphone. And now I carry my phone on my hip, and it took me a minute to get away from the landline that was at the house. And that was a transformative moment for me. And then you got the brick phone and stuff like that. Then computers came out. Now computers and everything is right here. You carry it around like it's really nothing. A couple of months ago, I met with the Advanced Air Mobility Division of Hyundai. Hyundai has invested over 1.5 billion in vehicles that would take off vertically and travel on a single charge 100 miles. Okay. And so they want to go operational. They want to operationalize this in the next 7 years. Okay. So the flying vehicles where you see people flying around to get to where they want to go, landing on rooftops and stuff, all that stuff is happening now. And one of the conversations they had with me is that we need to train mechanics. We need to train pilots. It's going to create a whole nother type industry. And also, if you thought that you were making ends meet with driving Uber, they're going to be self-driving vehicles. Right now, I was in a conversation with another company, Ford. They're looking at test driving autonomous vehicle level 6, which basically is a car that just drives by itself. And basically people just get in. So use your imagination. The world is an oyster. Just imagine, and I think through technology, there are opportunities for you to basically take advantage of it. So to you young people out there, we haven't even talked about NFTs. We haven't talked about that, which is another way that people can make money. And if you create something which looks like a PDF and you sell it to someone and they sell it to someone, every time they sell it, you get a piece of the revenue. So there are so many things out there. And just the only thing I could say to you young people out there, get involved, learn this technology space. If you're curious, some of it is high level, some of it is high level as cybersecurity, and some of it maybe as basic as doing NFTs. So,
Keith Carswell, Uwezo Frazier, servants of our community, exceptional role models. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right.
You. Welcome back to the 5,000 Role Model Show on MDC-TV. We're joined now by 2020 Wilson Scholar from American Senior High School and current sophomore at Hamilton College in New York, where he's joining us, Dwayne Martin. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So, Dwayne, let's begin by talking about where you grew up and how would you describe your upbringing?
Yeah, so I grew up across Miami. I was born and raised in Carroll City. I played football in Liberty City, Gwen Cherry. Did a lot of organizing work throughout Homestead, Miami Beach, etc. So I call Miami as a whole my home. And I think my upbringing, I would describe it as interesting. I think there's so many components of just being a low-income Black student coming from the inner city and aspiring to create change in the community. It's been an interesting process to both observe and also evaluate and critique the ways that we can create and effectuate change in our communities.
Who were some of your early influences and what motivated your accelerated interest in social issues?
Yeah, so I think I was born with glaucoma and a speech impediment, so issues of access have really mattered to me a lot. And being born with those things and also being a young Black man in the inner city, I really looked to literature as an outlet for me to really understand and discover what a world beyond the current predicament looks like. I think almanacs were one of my greatest influencers. early on, just really trying to get a better understanding of the world around me, and also my position within it. I also would say one of my fifth grade teachers, his name was Mr. George, and he would always say, he has this quote, he said, stay highly motivated and super dedicated. And I think that really carried with me throughout my entire process, both academically and professionally.
Highly motivated and super dedicated. I love that. What is the significance of programs like the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project?
Yeah, so I think the 5,000 Role Models has the capacity and does facilitate basic organizing at its root. The 5,000 Role Models brings Black youth together and shows them that they have a world that they can attain, right? I think oftentimes for Black students, especially in the inner city, we don't necessarily have access to a world where we can see what we can be outside of this current predicament, beyond the rapper or the basketball player. I think 5,000 Role Models really offers the platform for social development. But not only that, the 5,000 Models can also play this role as a community partner, as we saw earlier in the segment, between both these young Black students and brown students and community partners like the mayor and the new opportunities coming into Miami. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm super excited and proud to be a part of the 5,000 Models.
You've been very active in dealing with community issues here in South Florida. What motivated you to engage in this space, and what are some of the issues that you're working to solve currently?
Yeah, for sure. So as I said earlier, I was born with glaucoma and speech impediment, so issues of access really mattered to me. And there was a moment in third grade, I won't forget it. I was the line leader, and this other student was the door holder, and we were all just standing in line waiting to go to lunch. And I, as third graders do, I try to initiate conversation. When I try to initiate conversation, he doesn't respond. And I try again, and he doesn't respond. And then my last time trying, he says, my mother told me not to talk to N-words. So at that moment, I was super shocked, super confused as to why him as a student would orient himself towards me that way. But also why this Jamaican woman, my teacher, was so enraged by the situation. So from that point, that's what led me to literature and hopping into trying to understand like this overall structure that I'm a part of, and that I didn't know I was a part of. And from there, from literature, I went on to go into debate initially as a platform to just really talk about what I cared about and talk about the literature, but eventually as the space that facilitated communal care, but also the possibility and passport for a new world beyond. And from there, I wanted to translate those skills into the real world. I saw that there was things that we needed in our community, and I wanted to apply them. So I jumped straight into education policy. I think, as we see right now, education is the cornerstone of our society and democracy. We have an obligation to emphasize what our role is in that, and take control of both our local politics in order to effectuate change at the state and national level. And I think that starts right here in Miami-Dade County as ground zero for what it looks like for students to lead the change at the local level, and for the school board to be the state advocate for those students on the ground. And especially in a district so large, we have a obligation to really support and represent our students, especially as we see the transition and what jobs are requiring, but also what our community is requiring, right? We have so many issues that we haven't addressed, and it starts right now with education.
Dwayne Martin, you are certainly a leader, a change agent. We are incredibly proud of you as a 5,000 role model. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue to enjoy your experience at Hamilton College in New York. We are 5,000. If you want to get involved with the nation's premier dropout prevention and mentorship program, the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project, give us a call at 305-995-2451, extension 2, or visit www.5000rolemodels.com. We hope that you get involved with the 5,000 Role Models. Until next time.